Alright, hola, bienvenidos, welcome back to the channel. I went out and I told myself I wasn't going to buy any new tools for, stuff that I already had, but I got kind of tired of some tools and I wanted to change them out desperately, and I finally went out and got some. So I have some Milwaukee and Klein tools that are replacing a couple of Klein tools, and so we have I just got these. They didn't have any smaller ones. I got the long reach um, Milwaukee needle nose. I just need a needle nose. I could have gotten like a Husky, but I wanted to try these out. I got the Milwaukee flip socket set. So they have their own version as well, but I'm mostly interested in the handle there. And then I finally gave in. I've been wanting this for a long time. I just didn't know if I would need it, but this is the Klein. It's basically their cutters with the wire stripper in it. So they have the best cutter crimper in my opinion, right? I have a version of this without the stripper in my install bag, and I think even if you go to Harbor Freight, Doyle makes a version of it too, and it looks identical. I have one too. So this has always been my favorite, so I was like, why not get the wire stripper version? So that in itself can replace the wire stripper and cutters. I have some Hvacr cutters that are amazing, but these are good too. So I've always been into these style multi-tool pliers, which is the stripper and crimper with the needle nose at the end. That's mostly what I wanted it for, right? So these are kind of dirty, but I thought these would be the best crimpers, but I've gotten kind of annoyed with them. So this part is great, everything's great. It's just the crimper kind of sucks. If you're trying to do something and it's in a tight spot, you got to go over and then like crimp it. And this does not do the best with insulated connections. So the cool thing with the Klein ones, which is why I have it in my install bag, is that you have non-insulated and insulated options to crimp, which is the best. So if you're going to go for something to crimp, I would highly suggest the Klein Tools version, either this with the stripper or the one without. They make one that just has this head part, which is the cutters and crimper. You can also get this version that includes the stripper, so I'm excited to use these. I have no complaints on the Hvacr. I have no complaints on the Hvacr cutter. It's just, I wouldn't need it if I have a cutter built into that one over there. Now, the infamous all-in-one flip socket from Klein. Specifically, this one is the 14-in-1 HVAC version. So this is the main thing that I like about it. It has the bit storage, but I think at this point I've only used like 3 of these at the most. So I'm gonna keep this in the van somewhere, but I really only need to carry like a couple of bits, and I can carry those like on the bit holders or in the pockets, like whatever I would need. But this is still a good option if you guys want just an all-in-one that has all these nut drivers, and they do have a bigger one now that has 9/16 on it. If you guys want all these options on nut drivers, you just flip them around, and then the 1/4 inch takes all these bits. It can hold it in here and you'll be good. The handle is what sucks. So as you're turning it, I don't know if I can show it, this handle just keeps spinning, right? So it keeps spinning, and it's kind of annoying when you're trying to torque down something and it just slips. So I've been really annoyed with it. It's a really good option still, but I don't know why they do that. This thing should be like super glued down or something, but I just don't want to deal with it anymore. So I saw that Milwaukee had one. And as far as the crimp on this, like I said, it's not great or ideal for insulated. I'll show the one that I had before that. I was trying this one out and I had it forever and I really enjoyed it. I just wanted a better crimp doing repairs in tight spaces. If you guys have seen some of my recent videos, I've had to do some shorted wires where I don't have slack. I have to cut it and then crimp a connection to fix it because it'll rub out. And you know, this one kind of sucks because you got to get the whole thing in there and then crimp it down. All right, really quick, this is really cool. It feels really nice. It's a lot smaller than the other Klein counterpart. My only thing would be like, how well does this work? So they look nice. We'll see how well they do. This is like, I think the same. Yeah, you got an impact adapter right there. So like, if I wanted to, because this one has, oh, this one has everything. This one has 1/4 inch, 5/16, 3/8, 7/8, 1/2 inch, and 9/16. Which this one does not have. This one has all of the same, except it has 11/32, which I've used, but you really need a dedicated 11/32 hollow nut driver because a lot of those have a bolt sticking out, right? So this is actually perfect as far as the sizing. I've used a 9/16 on a few different nuts here and there, and I think I'm going to use that more than the 11/32, or I won't miss it as much, right? So the only thing this does not have is bit storage, but at this point, I think I'll just buy the individual bits or buy a set that are that I can kind of lock in to or put in a pocket of my bag or on a bit holder if they're the bit kind with the impact, you know, end on it. And at that point, I can probably just put it straight in here and then use it as a screwdriver if need be, right? So options, this was really cool as an all-in-one, but this feels way better. This is not gonna slip on me whatsoever, and it's built pretty well. So we're gonna throw that in the bag. It's a lot smaller too. Here is our new crimper wire cutters, right? So like I said, I'm gonna end up taking these two out of the bag, replacing it with this. So this one is a little bit easier to get the wire through and strip it, you know, cut it and then strip it. It's a little bit easier. You're not having to move it around too much. Tight spaces, this should be helpful. And then the crimper is really easy. You go in there and crimp, right? I think crimping, especially with straight connectors, is a little harder when the crimper's at the bottom versus at the top. This one has a stripper at the top, which would have been cool if the lever on this or the joint was down here and I had all this at the top. That would have been a better version in my opinion, where you don't have to feed anything through the bottom. Everything would have been on top. That would have been cool. That's kind of what I thought it was until I really looked at it. So still, like I said, the Klein, this version that has the insulated and non-insulated, best crimper in my opinion, unless you have a dedicated, I don't know who makes those other crimpers. I know there's probably a Knipex or Hvacr version that everybody likes, but I go to Klein. This is what I have local to me, and I really like multi-tools, so this one does everything. And then just so that I have a needle nose, we're gonna go with the Milwaukee right there. Extra, this is the long reach. I didn't need it. I don't think I needed it this long. I could get away with a small one, but we're gonna put this with this in the bag, get rid of this setup over here. Okay, real quick, as I'm recording these other videos that I have a little bit of time for today, I just want to give an honorable mention. I'm really picky when it comes to Crescent wrenches, and I even found, as far as like what I can go and find locally to pick up, the Walmart Heart wrenches were actually really good. I don't think I have any on me right now, but they were really good. They had a wide jaw. They had a nice tight, you know, when you adjust it to the size, it was not gonna give too much play. You do need a little bit, but it doesn't. It's like real minute, whereas some of them are super loose and stuff like that. until I came across this one by Klein Tools. I have no idea if it's new or not. I've never seen it before, to be honest. Was it, yeah, the part number's on there, the O507-6. And I mean, it looks really nice. The handle's really good. And then I just really enjoy the etching on this one. So you have millimeters on one side and your inches, where you can go up to an inch, I believe. So like a little tech tip, if you guys are new and you can't figure out what your line set is, and I do it every now and then for some stuff that's not familiar to me or I don't see every day, put your Crescent wrench on there that has the sizing on it, right? And then adjust it until it closes on it. And then you're gonna remove it and be like, oh, that's a ½ inch or whatever it is. You can use the measurement on this to double check line set or different things like that. I've done that a whole bunch. So this is another nice little honorable mention. I got this a couple weeks ago and I've been really loving it. I went and bought another one. So Klein Tools adjustable wrench is really nice. All right, quick little tip. If you guys have the MB3 type of bag or anything that has like a pockets inside, this one's kind of ripped up. But you know, if you use screwdrivers, hand tools, anything like that, you're always digging for them because they fall to the bottom. I mean, they're not going to stand up. There's no vertical tool storage in this, but I've put these in from the MB5 that I had. Now, if you don't have an MB5, that's fine because you can buy these separately. But the little pockets that come on the side pouches, they're magnetic. So you put them in, you slide them in, it'll clasp the pocket inside. And I've been using this and it's been really great on the other bag that I have that I can't show. But it keeps my most used, or the ones that fall the most, upright, right? Now you can only really fit one on the MB3, but essentially this is what it is. So wrenches, the knife, and 2 screwdrivers, which I'm always digging for, works perfect to keep them easy access and just not to lose them and be digging for them. So this one has a magnetic clasp. I believe if you want, I want to say it's a pair. I don't think it's each. I think it's a pair for 50 bucks. But that'll help you where you don't have storage. If you have a pocket or something that you can slide this into, you can make your bag have vertical storage. All right, guys. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Hopefully it was helpful. If you are newer, I will say, you know, this is a good option if you like multi-tools. I like multi-tools because I carry a smaller bag on my everyday like service and troubleshooting, and a multi-tool goes a long way in saving space in that tool bag. And these are like a popular one, I know, and they've been great. I did enjoy using them. It's just in tight spaces, I think this is going to be a little bit better because the crimper is a part that I always have an issue with on this one. Trying to crimp in a tight space is kind of hard with this one. Even if you don't want the wire stripper on this and you want to carry one of these, there is a cutter with just the crimper, and I would highly recommend that one because you get insulated and non-insulated options on this, where on this it just has that one option there. And if you can tell, the non-insulated crimper on this one and the crimper on the needle nose are almost identical. So on this one, I have accidentally like chewed through the or crimped through the insulation. The plastic will come off and you'll see the metal, which is not a big deal. But if you have a lot of wires, you know, connected in the same area, you don't want any of the that piece. I mean, they're insulated for a reason, right? So I would prefer them to stay insulated. So that option on this one is really good. If you guys are new, looking for tools, you know, buy it once and forget it. If you've been in the trade for a while, you probably have your favorite, you know, tools and brands and all that. It's just I had switched over to this one, and I'll show the one that I had before, which is a pretty common one that people have had. And that one also has, it's the same as this kind of, It's a different profile, different look, but it's this style, and you get insulated and non-insulated crimps at the bottom. Just my 2 cents. I've been using this one. It's been a little, it's easy, it's passable, it works. I've used it with no issues, but it's just, this would be a lot easier. And then as far as the nut driver, a lot smaller, so it'll save space. This one I think is built really well and has all the sizes that you would need in the HVAC trade, except for 11/32, but this one I can only use it in some instances because I need the hollow shaft for the bolts. This is the coolest part of it, but again, I can just buy a couple of bits and keep them in the bag to use them when I need them. But I also have a flip Klein one that is insulated for electrical, and it flips over from flat to Phillip, which is like the most common size that I use. It's not, you know, it only has those 2 sides, but that's what I use. And the only thing is that, you know, this is frustrating when it turns. So not a big deal. It'll still, you can still, you know, back out screws and tighten everything. It's just every now and then it's going to slip. And at the end of the day, when you're out in the sun running a bunch of service calls, that might piss you off, right? It's just annoying. So this one I feel like is built a lot better, and we'll try them out. That's just my 2 cents. If that helps you, like I said, a lot of new guys watch, and I want to recommend the best compact multi-tool type things where it's not going to take up a lot of space in your bag. So hopefully those are helpful to you. And if you guys have any recommendations or advice, you can leave them in the comments. I appreciate you guys for watching the video. Hopefully you enjoyed. Remember to like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. See you guys.